Hey everybody, it's Jason again, aka Shady Reaper, and we're here again today with another episode of Overclocking and Modding. Today we're going to do a 7350K build, so let's jump right in. Alright, let's go ahead and go over the parts for today's build. Today's build is going to be in the Rosewill R363-M black case, and it's all going to be done with the i3 7350K on the mortar MSI Z270M micro ATX motherboard with G.Skill Ripjaws V 2400 XMM3 profile memory. So let's go ahead and start building this motherboard. Let's go ahead and start with the motherboard part. I forgot to mention there's also a Noctua NH-L9x65 heatsink that's going on this thing. Low profile. I totally forgot to add that in at the beginning. So let's go ahead and put this motherboard together. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take the motherboard out of the box. As you can see, this is a really nice motherboard. MSI packaged it really well. In here, as you can see, micro ATX, very nice, very nice. Let's go ahead and set this down on the table. Alright. Alright, first thing we're going to do, we're going to get our 7350K here. As you can see, 7350K. Oh, you might not be able to see here. Let me turn it around. There you go. Let's go ahead and get this thing set in there. I like to take CPU out of the package. Go ahead and lift up your thing. As you notice, there's a arrow on the corner. You put the arrow in the corner here on the motherboard. So your two notches on the top line up with these two notches here. Just be very careful when you're dropping it in, so you don't bend up any of those pins, and poop, pops right out. There you go. Next thing I like to do is add the heat sink. Set this to the side. We'll unbox this. Here's your mounting plates and your accessories. And let's go ahead and pull this out of the box. Alright. As you can see, this is the Noctua. Very nice little cooler. Have yet to test it, but I'm pretty sure it's going to work really well. Everybody else says Noctua coolers are really nice, so I've been waiting to try one. So we're going to try one in this build. So first thing we got to do is don't forget to get your back plate out of your box here. Alright, bring your motherboard over here. If you flip your motherboard over and look, if you look at your mounting plate, it has a small little notch in it. That notch sits right there for those holes. Then you just take your heat sink, flip it back over the motherboard. There you go. Now, since we're using AMD, we're going to pull out our AMD Intel. We're going to pull out our Intel bag. Go ahead and open this up. Get our Intel parts out. All right. Get them all out here. First thing you want to do is drop these little black pegs, spacers, right onto here, just like that. Then you take your brackets, goes in the middle holes. Take these screws, and they screw right here, real nicely on this, real nicely right there. And grab your other bracket, center hole, center hole. Tighten it down. Noctua was even nice enough when they send these things that they send you a nice long screwdriver, tighten all this stuff up with. I have my own screwdrivers, but I'll use their tools so I don't have to get up and go find it. Tighten everything down real nice here. Okay, next thing I like to do before I attach the heatsink is add my RAM, because sometimes you just can't get to the RAM with the heatsink on it. Okay. Not sure if you guys could see this, so I'll bring the motherboard to you. If you can see right here, MSI nicely labels which DIMMs should be filled first. So DIMM 2A and DIMM 2B2 should be the first ones filled up. So that indicates that this one here and this end one. So we'll just go ahead, line up our marks, click our RAM down in there. And she sets in there beautifully. All right, now, next is the heatsink. Go ahead, we're gonna use the Noctua NH-L9x65 thermal paste that comes with it. Not sure if you guys could see that. There you go. Get you a nice little good look at it. Oh, one thing I like to do is I always like to go ahead and use a little bit of ISO alcohol and clean off this CPU. I already benchmarked the CPU, so might have a little residue on it. I like to go ahead and give the heatsink a nice little rub down, just in case there's any oils or anything off on it from the manufacturing process. Now we get our thermal paste. I like to do the dot method right in the middle. I've tried a lot of different ways. This one seems to work very well. Pull out your wire for your fan header. Since our fan header is over here, I like to turn the wire over this way. So, matter of fact, I'll put it this way so it hides up along that RAM nicely. Go ahead and don't forget to take off your fan. You just unclip it there and unclip it here. It pops right off. And then you take your heatsink, set it right down on those two little screws nicely like that. And tighten up one side a little bit. Tighten up the other side a little bit. Get them both started. Now that they're both started, go ahead and snug them down the rest of the way. I like to do one side a little bit and then the other side. This way it kind of evenly puts pressure on it. Do a little bit one side a little bit and then do the other side a little bit. Get a nice good pressure on it. And as you can see, take your fan, run your little clips down in there. That clips there. Take your other side, do the same thing. It's in there, nice and clipped in there, nice and pretty. I don't really like the way that fan sits. Let's go ahead and we're going to try this another way, because I don't like the way that wire sits. Yeah, that'd be a lot better. Yeah. Alright, and there we are. Motherboard is done. Heatsink installed, memory installed, ready to go. This is a really nice micro ATX motherboard too. Has M.2, has a steel reinforced PCI Express slot, has your M.2 Type C. It's a really nice motherboard. Alright, let's get on to the next thing. Alright, now that we got the motherboard done, I went ahead and got the case over here so we can take a look at it. We're going to go ahead and drop our motherboard in here. I already went ahead and pre-installed the pegs for the mounting points on the case for the motherboard. So let's go ahead and grab our I/O shield. Put this in the back here. And it just clips in real nice. Be careful with your fingers because it might get you. The one on my X99 motherboard did, and I was not very happy about it. So, I'm going to go ahead and pull this fan wire out there. Alright. And now we drop in our motherboard. This motherboard. Oh, one thing you can do to help put this motherboard in is your hard drive tray removes out of this case, which is a really cool feature. That's right, this motherboard's got it going like this. And just like that, it's dropped in there. Now we get our screws for the case. And our motherboard mounting screws. We'll go ahead and drop some of these in here. You want to make sure you want to fill every single one of these holes because they're all ground points for your motherboard. And you want to make sure that your motherboard has a good ground everywhere so you don't have stuff shorting out. This won't be doing much overclocking. It's going to stay at the stock 4.2 gigahertz speed. It's for a family member and they wanted a nice computer that was going to be fast. It was going to last a little while. And they didn't want to break the bank. So the 7350K was a really nice CPU. So I decided to go ahead and grab that up for them. I know you're probably thinking, oh, well, you could have got a 7600K or whatever. These people didn't want to spend more than $1,000. So what you see here is less than $1,000. And it's a really nice PC. Mind you, there's not going to be an external, a standalone graphics card. It's going to run on the regular Intel graphics, but other than that, it should do what the people want it to do. They just want to do Microsoft Office and surf the internet and stuff like that, and they want it to be fast. They don't want their web pages being slow loading up along with their Word documents. And I can tell you from testing a lot of dual core CPUs, this is by far the fastest one that I have ever tested. And for some reason, this screw does not want to go in properly. As you can see, it's not a good idea to tighten the screws down until you have them all in there. Rookie mistake. We'll get that fixed up though. This is by far the hardest motherboard screw I have ever seen in my entire life to put in. By far. And I put in a lot of these things over the years, and this is ridiculous. Jeez, that is crazy. I have never ever in my entire life seen one that hard to get in. That is crazy. And here I am dropping screws. I'll get that out later. All right, one last one. Okay, this one's going to prove me wrong here. This one's going to be the hard one to get to. Go ahead and let you guys see this. This is a pain in the butt down here in this corner. I've literally dropped 2 screws down in there. Okay, now we got that. Let's go ahead and tighten all these up. This is a really nice tool, man. I'll have to tweet to Noctua and tell them thank you for this. It's a good idea to send. So we have a fan for our exhaust here. I like to run the exhaust fans way over here, away from all of this stuff. Because, oh well, they decided to put a fan header on the bottom. I'll put it on the bottom here. And then I will take this, tie it up real nice. Okay, find our CPU plug. Just so you guys know, this was a pre-installed 400 watt Rosewill power supply that came with the case. Go ahead, plug in your motherboard power here. Alright, now that we got the power wires and everything installed, we're going to go ahead and install the front plug wires, your LED and your reset switch and all that shit. Alright, so here we go. Go down in here and FP1 over here. So first one is your power LED, which is these two. And it's going to go positive, negative, and then right below that is your HD, your hard drive. Actually, I'm going to plug the hard drive in first. Hard drive lights. Then power switch lights. And then the one on the back is your reset switch. So these two and your power switch, last but not least, right there. Then your USB, And your audio. Your J audio is over here on this end. And your USB. Make sure you got your closed off block facing the right way. And there it is. And there we go. Voila. Last to do is install the hard drive and the DVD Blu-ray player, and that's it. We'll be done. Alright, now that we've got everything else installed, the last two things to install are the hard drive and the DVD Blu-ray player. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take out this little hard drive tray with this button right here, which is really nice. You just take your hard drive, slide it in there the proper way. Holes line right up. Grab you some supplied screws. And we will put our hard drive screws in here to hold the hard drive in. There's one. And there's the other. Now what I like to do before I go shoving a bunch of stuff in there, let's get these wires out here. I like to go ahead and install my cables. First thing I'm going to do is we're going to go down here to number 1, which is what we want the hard drive to be on, number 1. And number 2, we'll put the go ahead and put the DVD drive on that. Okay, since the DVD drive is going to be up at the top, I'll go ahead and feed this wire through here since it's going to be up here in the top anyways. And now I can take our hard drive, line the 2 notches up and drop it in. Take us another screw. We drop it in. And there we go. Now it's mounted. Last thing to do, take our DVD drive. Nice Blu-ray, Asus Blu-ray player. I'm going to have to peel the plastic off the front a little bit. Push the front open. Oh, nope. This case you have to take the front cover off, which easily snaps right off. Make sure you don't put your screws in the way. And then you take your DVD drive. You set it in there. You take your front cover. You put it back on. And then you slide your DVD drive into where you need it to be. And then you take your mounting screws to hold it. From sliding up. There's one. There's the other one. can always flip it over. And the backside cover doesn't come off of this one. So I guess that'll have to do for holding the DVD drive in. Seems kind of sloppy there, Rosewill. You need to fix that. That is not very nice. That does not seem very sturdy, you know what I mean? There's nowhere for it to really hold on to. Not very nice. Okay, now the last thing we got to do is hook up our wires. So we got our power wire down here for this. I'll run it back that way. So it doesn't look so bad. And then our power wire for our DVD player. And I'll take these extra wires. Stick them out of the way where you can't really see them. Plug in your DVD drive. Plug in your hard drive. And there you go. Completed system. Last thing to do is power it on and see if it comes on. We'll be right back with that. Alright everybody, it's time for the moment of truth. Here it goes. Oh, looks like we got power. Oh, and here we go. Let's see. And there we are. Looks like it works perfect. I'm going to go ahead and install Windows, and when I get Windows installed, we'll be back with you. Alright, as you can see here, we have Windows up and running, and it seems to be going pretty good. So that's about it. Next video, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do some testing on this, and I'll get some results for you guys on this air cooler. Alright. As you can see, that was a fairly simple little build. 7350K, nice little Rosewill power supply and case. It was really nice to build in. If you guys wanted to go ahead and build this, it would cost you about $750, $800 without a graphics card. Now if you spend another 200 bucks, it'd be a nice little $1,000 system if you're just wanting to do some little bit of gaming, web surfing, stuff like that. Well, later next week we'll go ahead and do some testing on it, and I'll get some results up for you and let you guys know how it plays some games and stuff. So we'll be back with you next week. Hope you guys enjoyed overclocking and modding. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. Make sure you click over and subscribe. Thanks.